Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to do a kind of first look in PvP at Makoto, because I'm probably one of the only crazy people who, of the three persona units, and I have all three, Makoto, Queen, was the first one I leveled up. She's fully like unlocked. She's 120 capable. Mine's only 116. I need a little bit more experience. But I'm going to talk about how to build her as a hybrid specifically for today's video. And we're going to throw her into some fights, learn about her AI, figure out what buffs you want to use, what buffs you don't want to use. You know, all the stuff that you come to expect from like a kind of PvP showcase here. Now let's talk about her, and I want to start by looking at her stats, and like in this party, I'm running her both as a hybrid unit, and I'm going to try to fight physical-based teams. Note her attack and magic are both around 1,000. Attack is a little over it, magic is a little underneath of it. Some of that is coming from warrior spirit in her sub-job, but let's point out her brass knuckles +5. I built a critical version here, and this thing, if you talk about like the raw amount of stats on a piece of gear, you're getting 182 attack and 182 magic. I think this does allow you to play her as a hybrid if you want, and then you have strike attack to boost her physical and magic attack to boost her magic. So a really good piece of gear for her in my opinion. If you want to run her as a hybrid like I'm doing today, I think Guyon is about as good as you can do, because if we go into his board here, I mean, you can already see his stats. He's got equal magic and equal attack, but in his board, he will give her a little bit more magic, which you can see she was a little bit behind on. He will also give her lightning attack up, which will help all of her moves. Critical hit rate up is nice, and then accuracy into even more critical hit rate. And then I splashed in a little magic resistance as well. You don't really need the like slash attack here. She's not going to be doing slashing damage, so go for the lightning attack, magic, accuracy, and crit. And I think if you're going that true hybrid build, Guyon's about as good as you can go. If you want to go more physical, look Odin, look those physical DPS Espers. If you want to go more magic, look Bahamut, look over there. But that's what I'm doing today. Now, vision cards on Makoto. I think she is an excellent candidate to hold any kind of vision card you want to support your group. As a balanced attack and magic unit, I'm giving her Death Machine, which you can see is more of an attack card but has that little magic on there. She's wasting none of those stats. She's getting value out of that whole stat pool. And the area attack resist up on Death Machine synergizes with one of her buffs, which is another area attack resist buff. So this group will be pretty good against AoE attacks. And then I'm also going to run Black Rose of the Battlefield in her subslot for the agility buff for the group. And once again, she likes all of the stats here. So it's really hard, especially if you're running Makoto as a hybrid. It's hard to find stats that she doesn't want in a vision card. So just as an example for this group today, I chose Death Machine and Black Rose of the Battlefield as generic rainbow vision cards that you can use to buff your whole group. Trust Masters. Let's talk about TMRs on her real quick before we get into a fight. The reason I'm using bells on her is not because she needs to cast bells. I actually don't think you need bells on her at all. The reason is because I have this thing trust stoned out, and I don't want to take the trust stones off of it because it's also on my Guild Wars team. In reality, Makoto can use any trust stone you want. She comes into fight with the AP of a mage, so you don't need to worry about building up AP on her. That is super valuable. And then I just gave her some defense gear. Now, Esther and Charlotte are in here. They're going to do Esther and Charlotte things. There is a little bit of anti-synergy when it comes to buffing between Makoto and Esther, because both of them have an AoE resist buff that they like to cast. But let's see if we can find a physical team and take them out. Now, this is not a physical team, even though they're not running those sub VCs. Here's a mostly physical team. It's Tifa, Cloud, and Black Rose Helena. The Black Rose Helena is a little bit of a threat there, but let's fight them. Let's fight them. Now, I have everything on for Makoto in this first fight. This is a true test. I want to see what her AI prioritizes so we can learn how to build her kind of as we go through this. I expect that she will focus group buffs first, her AoE resist buff, for example. If you have her in her different sub-jobs, which we'll talk about that after this fight, she'll do some other things. Now, she's also the slowest out of every member in this group. So both Charlotte and Esther are going to get to go first, and in fact, everybody on the other team is also going to get to go first. On this map, that's not going to be a problem. Now, there's the AoE resist buff from Esther, and then here is the AoE resist buff from Makoto. So you can already see I'm going to want to turn one of those buffs off or rearrange my units in some way, because I don't know. I kind of like the secondary part of both of those buffs. I like the physical shield that Esther gets from that, and I like the attack and magic up for Makoto. Charlotte's out there tanking, and Charlotte took 1 damage right there from Black Rose Helena. That's pretty cool. Esther's doing Esther things. She absolutely just destroyed Tifa right there. Cloud gonna try to do Cloud things, but Charlotte is very, very tanky right here. Here is Council, that's the critical hit rate buff from her Gunner sub. So far we've learned that her AI is indeed prioritizing those group buffs, and it first prioritized the AoE resist buff, and then it went to the Council buff from the Gunner sub. Now that was a pretty easy win, but we accomplished our goal. Our goal there was learn what buffs she's going to cast, and then we can adjust. We can adjust based on that, turn some stuff on or off. Keep in mind, in this build, I don't want her using her TMR. Even though that buff is on, it is clearly low down the priority list. Let's go into her jobs and adjust. I'm going to go ahead and leave her AoE resist buff on because I want her to get that attack and magic up. But if I go into, let's say, Gunner here, what buffs do I care about here? Council, that's a critical hit rate buff. I mean, that's okay, but I'd rather that be on Esther than Charlotte. Let's see, that's the, and then aimed fire, I don't really want that. I'm going to turn both Council and aimed fire off, and then we're going to go up into her main job here. Let's see, I want this AoE resist buff for that attack and magic steroid. Empty the mind. Let's see if she'll put this on before she does her TMR. That'll be interesting because this is spirit and reaction block rate, which even in this group, and I'm going to confirm that this TMR buff is indeed active. Let's find out. In our next fight here, let's find out if she will cast her self-only buff before she will cast her TMR. This is a mostly physical team. It's an ice team, which is interesting. And guys, like, I think people are still, somehow, I think people are still sleeping on Gilgamesh. After that last update, that man is a monster among monsters, a god among men, both literally in the story where he like lives up there with like super goddess girl who you got to imagine is coming to this game at some point, and on the arena. So now let's also watch here. Keeping in mind that Makoto's going last, is there a place we could put her in the order? Because Charlotte is going to cast her buff and move towards the enemy. I don't have any group buffs on for Charlotte, so I feel like she kind of wants to start there. I wonder if I switch Esther and Makoto's spots around, if Esther would, where Esther would end up. I don't know that there's a way for me to get Makoto to buff all 3 of them using these 3. I might just have to live with kind of the anti-synergy that we're dealing with right there. But anyway, my Charlotte is stacked up, ready to go. Here comes an AoE. No, he didn't go for the AoE Kotetsu right there. And that might be because we have so much AoE resist in this group. Now we're going to get to see the Bunny Bolt Blitz here from Esther. This is always really hype. Yo, this is one of the cooler looking like little bunny lightning moves I've ever seen. It doesn't kill Gilgamesh because he's a beast. And then Leg Shot comes out from Makoto. So I do have her Gunner abilities on. The next thing we'll do is go look at those. So clearly right there, she chose to do that over a magic attack. I'm pretty sure she could have gotten range to do a magic attack. Can't be 100% sure, but it still did 4,300 damage with that chance of disable. And there, we learned what we wanted to learn. She did not cast her single target buff. She used bells instead. I don't want her using bells. So I'm going to go turn bells off after this fight. The only reason I had it on, honestly, was to see what her AI would do. I love Charlotte's movement here. She is staying away from the group. We've killed Gilgamesh for the 2nd time. Laswell is still working on our tank. Charlotte is finally dead. Now here's their tank. Okay, we're going to get to see more of Makoto in action right here. Let's see, and again, I'm really just curious. Is Fryevia so anti-magic that Makoto will go for her physical attacks? She goes Charge Johanna. That, I believe, is a magic attack. It did 5,000 damage into the tank. That's pretty good. And that will chain with Bolting Impact. So we 2-shot the Fryevia with Makoto Esther. That's pretty good. AoE attack comes across. We tank that pretty well. Moffredine, this is definitely a magic attack. Only 1,500. This Laswell is a pretty thick boy, but it chains with Esther, and we win the fight. So, could that have gone a little better? I think the improvement here could be, let's switch Esther and Makoto around, and let's turn bells off to try to get Makoto to cast her single target buff. Also, leg shot. Did I like using leg shot? No, because I think the benefit of Makoto's gunner sub job, which I do think is probably one of her best, is that you have status effects in there. So going into gunner, I don't really care about immobilize, right? So I'm going to turn that off. Sidewinder, I definitely don't care about beast killer. The piercing could be nice. Arm shot's the big one. That has a chance of disabling. That's huge. And I'm running Makoto at 97 faith to help her magic damage. So I'm going to leave that on. Blind could be good in some situations. I'm going to turn that off as well. So really, I just want arm shot. I just want to add that missile type attack and the chance of disabling. That's a big boost to Makoto, I think. Then I'm going to turn bells off. So let's do that. Bells off. And then let's switch Esther and Makoto. Even though we're winning, let's switch them around and see how the buff rotation looks in this case. I do want to say, I don't know, this could be a spice. Ooh, okay. This is an all physical team. Very big tank here with Joom. Joker's only level 80. So I don't love that as a test. I'm not going to fight an all earth team. It's just not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to throw my lightning squad into an earth squad. I'm not crazy. That's evasion. We're definitely not built to beat evasion. I think there's options there. I think you could try to do that. I am not. So, okay, here's 2 dark carries and a Halloween Little Leela. All right, Halloween Little Leela's damage is very heavily AoE. And if I can get that spirit buff cast for Makoto, like Charlotte's going to be fine. Charlotte's going to tank whatever. Esther's pretty tanky as well. For Makoto, I'm stacking defense on her with my current setup. A little spirit from that self buff could be helpful. I'm going to take a drink. All right, here's Charlotte. She goes with her buff. And then Esther is going to do the same buff here. The difference here, I bet you Makoto casts her buff and then advances towards the enemy. So Makoto might overextend in the current spot I have her. Let's see. Another option, like, okay, she is going to do the AoE resist buff, get her attack and magic up, and she is going to run towards the enemy. Now, she's only move 3, jump 1, so I guess I don't necessarily hate where she ended up, and with all that AoE resistance, she only takes 748 damage. She only took 748 damage from that little Leela attack right there. We can live with that because you have the AoE resist from Death Machine on top of the AoE resist from her buff, and then there's her spirit buff. So she's very tanky now. Oh, guess what? She also has physical reflex. So she reflexes the cane, and yeah, that's a good start for our girl Makoto. Stormbrand comes out, Kane goes down, and guys, like, look, if you're playing Kane, I know I talk about this whenever I talk about Kane. I really think you might want to keep his courage buff online. Okay, Queen has now been hit 3 times and she's above half HP. She one-shots the Halloween Little Leela with Charge Johanna, which even though she has re-raise, will cancel the casting, so that's pretty OP. Paralyzing Blade comes out from Charlotte. Again, really looking for status effects. That is a nice synergy of this team with Charlotte and Makoto, is you can have Charlotte running her status effect attacks. So you have like chances for disable from Makoto. You have chances for things like paralyze from Charlotte. That's pretty cool. The winning streak continues. Should we make any adjustments for the next fight? I think I liked Makoto being kind of more out there, because if she's getting hit early, Charlotte's also going to be out there with her, so it'll be AoE attacks, and I think we're going to be able to deal with those. Maybe, ooh, guys, okay, here is a meta lightning team, If I was a betting man, if I was putting money on the table, I would say this: all of our gear is anti-physical, so Ibarra should tee off on us, and I would bet against me here. But hey, this is content creation life, right? Let's hit the meta lightning team and see if the 116 Makoto lightning team can do it. Now, I also don't have any idea, right, what level of vision cards the enemy's running, what level their espers are. So even though this looks like a really meta team, and I'm assuming with this lineup you've probably invested also into espers and vision cards, I can't be sure about that. So let's just see what our ladies can do right here. I could also go look for a water team. Maybe what I'll do for my last fight in this video is go see how she fares against a water team, which I would bet on us winning. Again, okay, let's talk about Charlotte for a second. What you just saw from Charlotte is very important. You want Charlotte buffing twice. There's arm shot. We did it. Okay. Yes, that's what you like to see. I love to see a plan come to fruition, and we are running disable shot on Makoto just for the chance to do exactly what she just did, disable that Charlotte. And then don't discount Charlotte's damage, especially if you're running the lightning sword on Charlotte. She is legit strong, and Makoto is showing off a little bit here. Her limit break, by the way, I didn't mention this, I leveled it up to 15, which is a nice like budget spot, and oh damn, does that look cool. Okay, now Esther's going to return the favor with her limit break. This is one of the harder hitting moves in the game. We're built for defense. We have AoE resist on. We dodged it. Wait, what happened? Wait, we don't have any evade. How did we dodge that? I don't know. And then we killed Esther. I might go ahead and make the assumption that that team's gear was maybe a little less than ours. That dodge, guys, Makoto's not an evasion unit. I don't know. That was weird. Did we blind her or something? Did we land a blind? Let's take a look at Makoto's LB. Maybe it did something to that Esther, because I certainly did not expect to get a dodge in today. Atomic Flare, lowers lightning resist. I knew that. Large damage and haste on self. So no, I don't think that, I don't know. It's all good. Okay, last fight of the day. I sort of like how our team is performing right here, and I feel like Makoto is showing well. Let's see if we can find a water team. If not, oh, Johnny Fox. Johnny the Fox. It's a double physical water team. Okay, this is a well-built team too. I see UR gear in here. I see really good vision cards. Yeah, let's hit this team. Now, we have the elemental advantage, but I don't know. Celis is pretty dang strong. Let's see. We're going to find out. If Astorius was in here, that'd be really cool. But Astorius doesn't come out till like probably 10 hours after I post this video. Actually, it'll be less than that. It'll be like 4 hours after I post this video. Either way, he ain't in this group. Nobody has Astorius yet. And like the side tangent, the pivot to the name Astorius, that's so much harder to say than Astorius or something, in my opinion. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Here we go. Charlotte, going to get her hate online. And again, I'll go back to Charlotte, right? I love that she has the hate up buff. If that hate up buff had the protect and shell in it like Jooms did, I think Charlotte would be like maybe the best tank in the game. But Charlotte really needs 2 cycles of buffing, in my opinion. Okay, I love this spell from Makoto. So far, this AoE resist build, I've enjoyed the returns on it. There's Charlotte's second round of buffing. So Charlotte is just god level tank at this point. We're going to get a barrage. So we tank that really well with elemental resist, with the AoE resist. Another AoE attack. They're really not doing any damage to us. Titus is doing Titus things. And what I mean by Titus things is, on a map like this, you really got to watch out with Hastiga on Titus, because that dude will sit back there and just hug whoever's in your back line for like the whole fight. And you can see that's what he's doing right now. Lara Croft and Titus are like making out in the library while, you know, good teammate Celis is out here sacrificing herself to the lightning squad. And that is basically what's happening. Okay, there's Inherited Tyranny from Esther. Again, I do know that does not exactly synergize well with her kit. She can get that defense pin from her limit break as well. But keep in mind, I'm using that TMR because that's my Guild Wars TMR and I have Trust Stones on it. And I just don't want to like take those Trust Stones off. Alright, now I'm a little bit worried about accuracy here. Lara Croft can dodge. I have none. Let's see here. Taunting Blade from Titus. Makoto is hanging in there. She's basically eaten every single AoE attack the enemy's thrown at us. Bunny Blitz right there kills Cloud. Makoto's going to miss again. So definitely a weakness of my build, at least, is the accuracy on Makoto. But, okay, she's standing in front of Charlotte. I wish Charlotte would have, you know, helped us out there by moving. Surging Storm is dodged. Uh-oh. Do we lose to evade Lara Croft? Lightning Strike. We did lower her lightning resist, so that's cool. I don't know that she can ever kill Charlotte. Like, I think no matter what, I'll win at least by turns. There's the accuracy buff from Esther, so that will help. Let's see. Lara Croft's just going to keep shooting Charlotte for like 0-ish damage. Charlotte can't hit her. Here comes the bunny. The bunny got that max damage hit in. That's a dub. And guys, that's going to be like my first little run with Makoto. So if you have more, if you have tips or anything, more experience that you want to share with people in the chat, drop that stuff off. I don't know. I think there's a possibility she could be built for accuracy, but it would take, in my opinion, a lot of work. I think you would have to do like trust stones, really lean into like high level accuracy gear, find an Esper that could boost accuracy as well. But overall, I thought that was cool. I like the AoE resist buff, and I especially like stacking it with that death machine. So on a map like this one, where you kind of all end up in the same area, you can take a few AoE resists and keep on trucking. Fun times. Okay, easy little video for tonight. Little Makoto action. More Persona 5 PvP coming soon, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.